I know the backlash that happens on the internet when you sound like you're disconnected. So like I'm aware
What's it
of
like?
it.
Are you in the chat?
Are these mixed? These already these are mixed? All right.
So should we take a sip? Should we take
No.
take a break? Take a sip?
first.
You guys haven't had that yet, have you?
All right. We're gonna do them all at the same time.
When the internet comes backwards towards you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's happened before.
But not to you guys.
Not in this realm.
There's been some negative comments, absolutely. You've just ever had a bad game and you're just like, I'm going to torture myself on the internet by searching my name in the search bar, and then you're just like, why did I fucking do this?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
Guys.
And it's always in the bus ride to the plane, and you have to sit there in the entire plane with no Wi-Fi to see if there's any positive comments.
Do you read, do you get your pass protection sucks?
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Like, you see that.
Yes, and it happens whether you play good or play bad. Like, oh, this guy's
serious?
dumbing Taylor Lewan. And I think to myself, bro, I played so good today, and you want to say something, do something, but instead you let it fester, and then it creates.
Sometimes I'll pop on, I'll be like, oh, I had a good game. Let's see if the fans switched up on me. And it's like, oh, he fucking sucks. I'm just like, oh, shit.
Like you missed
I'll step it up.
a tackle, right? You missed one tackle.
Yeah.
You had 11 that game, and they're like, "Fuck, did you do on that? Third.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you see it.
You see it.
Better yet, do you guys get players of other teams telling you how bad your game was?
Ooh.
Because we get that. I get that. I got that the other day.
You're saying players on other teams
Other
telling us
comedians
how...
will trash you on TikTok or on podcasts, and then you get that, and then you're like, oh, cool.
This just looks like a sunflower bud.
Well,
we're gonna have fun
the
here.
comedian world feels so much different. Like, I feel like I say this with a lot of love for all the comedians, but it seems like a lot of a lot of material. Like, comedians, to me, it's like they find a lot of stuff from like their lowest moments or a lot of insecure places. So it almost seems that way because it's such more of a one-player game on the road, doing your stand-up and everything else. Whereas football and team sports, you want the boys to succeed, and if you're watching somebody else as a linebacker, you might have a comment to yourself like, oh, I could have played that better, whatnot. But you understand what everybody's going through, so you're kind of like.
That's funny. I wish we had the same camaraderie.
Yeah. Football players do a really good job of talking shit behind your back. But if they're with
Correct.
you,
They do
they'll
it.
be like, hey, man,
they do it
you're all
on
right.
podcasts.
The thing that people don't get about football, this does nothing for stand-up, but with football, is that like a really good player can have low stats because of how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of fans don't register that like this guy might have 3 tackles because that offense is like, we're not going to even run to that side of the fucking field.
Right.
Because this guy is so lights out.
Or throw on that side.
We're not going to punt to this guy at all. We're just going to kick it. And their stats suck. Like, yeah, that's because that guy's so dangerous that the whole scheme is to fucking avoid him.
Right.
That shit is amazing. Yeah.
Luke Kuechly was that way. Like, if you block this guy, we will gain yards. If you don't, we will lose the game.
He will make you pay.
Yeah, he will make you pay. Unfortunately, middle linebacker, there's no running away from him. He's literally everywhere. When you guys are explaining how comedians come at you guys, and it's they do it on podcasts.
I told Tommy I was on the phone with the dude. I was on the phone with the dude yesterday morning for 15 minutes.
I gotta rip the boys.
Who said something sideways on TikTok, and I thought it was about me. He said it wasn't, but he's like a friend of mine, and I've had him on my podcast. We're all friends with him, and everyone goes, "That's got to be about Bert." And then they send it to you, and then you get it, and then you got to feel like shit on the treadmill, and you're like, "I don't even want to work out now."
Nice treadmill
like,
flex.
Fuck. And then you're like. And then
45.
And then
Incline
but like that
6.5.
happens is like we talk shit in some. We don't do it anymore. We did it back in the day, but like it happens where comics will talk shit about you because once you get to a level of success, you're just a target for everyone.
It actually makes sense.
It makes
does.
total sense.
No, it makes sense. But the person that I think about is Cat Williams.
Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny. He want to push out.
When you guys talk about podcasts, comedians, Rogan, and all the things he was saying, I believe you guys talked about it a little bit on your pod too.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel that was directly put at you guys at all?
What thing?
Honestly.
Cat Williams was saying something like, Rogan won't have me on because he's got his comedians.
He has said, he said, quote unquote,
okay.
He just has the six funny motherfuckers on every time. Unfunny.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, me, Tom, Ari twice,
Shane
Gillis, and Mark. You know that there's no way Cat gets Shane. Like he just doesn't. Like Cat, he doesn't get Mark Norman either. I don't think he gets Rogan, to be honest with you. So like, but he definitely doesn't get me. Like, there's no way Cat Williams sees me take my shirt off on stage. He goes, that looks good, or whatever he does. You know.
You're the exact type of guy where he's like, tonight we're getting fucked up.
By the way, if Cat and I hung out, we would get down hard as fuck. Like, I'm friends with all his friends. Like, I'm friends with all his friends. I understand a dude like Cat Williams. I've wanted to pack a gun in my suitcase and get on an airplane before. Like, I get it. I fucking get it. I'm that guy. I've wanted to fight a 7th grader before. Like, fuck yeah. And I'd probably lose also. So, like, I get Cat Williams, but, like, when he says stuff like that, like, definitely, I saw that. It was like, it
didn't register to me, honestly.
Yeah, really?
No. It really
That's
didn't.
good.
But
It didn't
Tom's
register to me.
dead inside.
But maybe. But like he had to bring it up, and I was like, oh yeah. I thought it'd been great if he fucking said our names. That would have been amazing. He'd be like, that Tom motherfucker. Like if he would have said
Tom Segura can't read.
Yeah, like that would have been fucking amazing. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like here's the thing: comics are normally they're two-faced, and they're not gonna say shit to you 99% of the time. So there's all this shit talking. It's like high school. You know what I mean? And like if you do have success in something, someone's always, I mean, you know, it's all it's rooted in insecurities and talking shit. We're shit talkers.
Right.
So like
and if you're trying to play the cool guy card, you're like chirping and hating and like all that.
Dude, and then some people,
blah, blah, blah.
some people talk shit and they go, I'm not really talking shit.
Right.
You can't like if you really sink into that and go, I'm gonna let this, like, you can't let it bother you. You have to go like, there's an even exchange here. I'm fortunate enough to have all these things going on, and like I know I'm lucky to have it. I'm lucky as shit that, you know, to have podcasts, the touring, like all those things are happening. And if somebody wants to go like fuck you or like you don't deserve it, you have to go like, okay, yeah, I mean, sure, man, like I get it. I get it.
It's got to be like
you're at that phase right now. But also that person who's that upset about it is usually, you know, they're in a certain realm, and like 10 years from now, they're going to be the one that has like all that shit going on. Someone else is going to be, you know what I mean? It's cyclical, and it takes its natural path. You cannot get upset about people barking at you for for things that you know you're lucky to have. You just have to go like, yeah, I understand you're upset about, or like you're bitter or you're insecure about it. I get it. I totally get it. This probably looks like unwarranted. Like you don't, you know what I mean? Like because there is kind of like, it's really feast or famine in entertainment. Like you really are struggling to make rent, and then it's dump trucks backed up where you're like
Brinks trucks.
There's no, yeah. It's like there's not like a lot. It's not like there's not a real balance to it. So it makes sense. Is what I'm saying. If somebody is like really bothered by it, you can't take it personally.
In an entertainment, especially with the internet and social media and everything else, like falling victim to it and having to check yourself and everything like that. Like it's such a status signal game to where if you're entering that realm, there is like the punching up, trying to pull down, like
dude,
it's like you just fall victim.
Really, when that shit like really ramps up, you really just need to be like, I just got to focus on what I'm doing. And like, there's people, it's almost like with teams avoiding noise, like don't pay attention to
bulletin board material.
Yeah,
right.